He'll complain on a train. He'll complain on a plane. He'll complain in the rain on a lane in Spain. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice. They're going to mandate you get it on. Welcome, Dean Cain, into the studio. Always good to see you, my friend.
Absolute pleasure.
Dean, very interesting guy. Lots of stuff going on. We have things in common. Little Angels, the name of the movie. Angel Studios. Great guys over there. Love those guys out in Provo. And it's streaming on angel.com. And support those guys because they need support, not that they're struggling, and that they are part of the new world order of tired of getting kicked around by Hollywood and, told to mask up, so they just go to Provo and do their own thing. Right?
Yeah, we didn't have masks on. Actually, we shot this Little Angels during COVID, so we had a lot of mask issues. And in fact, a third of our budget, I think, we spent on COVID compliance. Might as well have flushed all that down the drain or just burned it up.
Yes. So there's you and I probably followed about the same trajectory in this business to a certain degree, which is, in the beginning, nobody really cared about anything. They just need you to show up and be sort of semi-sober, do your job, and then you'd get paid and you'd leave. And that would be about it. And then a thing started, and it probably started around Obama era, where they started to kind of go, did you vote for Obama? And it was and I was always agnostic about things. I grew up sort of atheist, in the valley with a hippie mom, welfare, and just fucking hung out. And I didn't have any real thoughts. We didn't go to church. I didn't know. No one in my family owned a gun, and nobody in my family was remotely religious. And so people hung out and did what they did, but there was no conservative. Charlton Heston was conservative when I was a kid. I didn't know anyone in my family owned a suit or had a short haircut or anything, or Bible. There wasn't a gun or Bible anywhere near my house. And that's how I grew up. Now, how did you grow up?
Pretty similar. My parents were hippies in Malibu. I mean, I grew up in Malibu. When I was 5 years old, we moved to Malibu, lived in Paradise Cove, which is beautiful, but it was a trailer park.
Right.
So everyone was like, "Oh, you grew up in Malibu. It's great. It's so glamorous." No, it wasn't, because we didn't have a lot of money.
It was rural.
It was very rural and beautiful.
Yeah.
And their best friends were the Penns, Leo and Eileen Penn. So Sean Penn, Chris Penn, Michael Penn. I grew up with those guys. Chris Penn and I were close in age, a year apart. All those other kids grew up out there.
Penn.
Oh, yeah. Well,
fun guy.
Real fun guy. Well, Chris was wonderful, and bless him. And I played sports with him all the time and such. Mm-hmm. Sean's obviously still around and doing well. I don't agree with his politics, but I love the guy. So, and that's a thing that people don't seem to understand these days, is you can disagree politically and still be friends.
Yeah.
Well, I can. A lot of people can't.
Yeah. Well, so I grew up, and you grew up just sort of hippie, SoCal, agnostic, something. And, but then subjects started coming up, you know what I mean? And I was just like, well, listen, I don't want to pay a whole bunch in taxes and get nothing in return, but that seemed like a pretty common sense kind of thought.
It is.
For me. And other things would pop up, like, well, I want the border secure. Because, if you live in Los Angeles, well, as a matter of fact, I saw Sean Penn at Michael Madsen's wake at the Vista Theater last Friday. And, LA's big. And if you live here and you live there are parts of it you'll never see.
Oh, yeah.
Or parts of it you haven't seen in 20 years. But all of a sudden, Waze takes you to the Vista Theater from Malibu.
Right.
Or La Cañada, and all of a sudden I'm going down streets I haven't been down in a while. And I'm going down through, Koreatown, whatever, and I see street vendors, and I'm not talking about ice cream cones. I'm talking about full shacks with roofs and tarps hanging down. And all the way down the sidewalk, I can't see what businesses or stores are even in the mini mall. I can't see it because it's blocked.
If there's any in there anymore.
If there's any in there. And it is literally 3 blocks of salsa and chopping and generators running and food and chicken. And I'm like, this is a complete street takeover, but it's completely what Tijuana, actually, sorry. It's a lot further gone than Tijuana was when I was young and would go there to party.
We used to go there and run around, yeah.
Yeah, and you'd see little girls selling chiclets on the streets and guys making tacos, but they did not take over the entire sidewalk. So if you live here, you have thoughts. And you have thoughts about, like, well, maybe if we pay the most in gas prices, there shouldn't be as many potholes.
What a concept.
Maybe we should get the border taken care of so the place isn't just littered with street vendors, and a couple basic thoughts like that. Not what I would consider conservative thoughts, just thoughts.
Common sense.
Basic thoughts. Yeah, no, I don't want the homeless taking over the parks.
No.
I got kids, I want to go to the park.
You want to go take your dog to the park. You want to be able to have your kids go out there and play and make that safe. LA has encouraged homelessness. They've paid for it. They've encouraged, giving needles and drugs to people encourages it. Giving a stipend to people encourages it. Not enforcing laws encourages it.
The thing about homeless people is, by definition, they can move around. I move around. I got to pull up stakes. You know what I mean? I got to get a U-Haul up in here. I got cars and trailers, and it's some effort. Homeless is just that. You can go where the wind takes
over there.
you. Yeah. Right. So if somebody says, look, the getting's a little better over here because they provide more and they have more shelters and they don't judge and they won't scrape you off the sidewalk and put you somewhere, then why would you be homeless in a place that was difficult? Why not just migrate to a place that's easy? I mean, it's
here.
Yeah, it's sort of, the homeless is sort of like saying there's a fence and there's a long fence and we want to get to the other side of it. And you go, okay, well, down 100 yards, there's a hole. And you go, okay, well, I'm not going to try to build a ladder and climb over. I'll just walk over to where the hole. I'll go to where the hole is. That's what homeless. And California's the hole.
That's why we have, I guess, almost half of the nation's homeless here in this state, which used to be my home state. Used to be.
Now, back to the sort of politics of it. I am simply pragmatic and trying to fix problems, and so I would like less homeless, and I would like lower gas prices and less potholes and things like that. Now, I don't find any of that to be a controversial stance.
Nope.
Is what I'm saying. And by the way, you want to be transgender, but you can't walk into the girls' locker room if you still got your junk as a dude. Okay.
And leave the kids alone.
Right. Super basic, straightforward. Everybody on any, Sean Penn would have agreed with all this shit.
Oh, yeah.
15 years ago.
100%.
No problem. Right.
I would think he would.
And then something started, and they just started on some sort of crusade that is pretty Orwellian, and there's lots of shades of history in it. And then you had a choice. The choice was go along with whatever the new world order is that they're creating, or stop and announce I'm not going along with it.
And then get ostracized and called a Nazi.
Right. I was talking to Dr. Drew about this, literally writing in here about 15 minutes ago, and he said, well, he got sucked into this, or he could have been sucked into it a lot because he is naive.
But he's handsome.
I know. And I said, that's a French word, but say it with an accent, would you please? He speaks fluent French.
Does he?
Oh, yeah.
Of course he does.
Of course he does.
Of course he does. Given.
So he said, I'm naive. And I said, I'm naive too, Drew. And I am naive in that I don't lie, so I don't assume other people lie. So when people go, I can't come into work because I rolled my ankle, I just go, he rolled his ankle. But he's probably fishing. But okay. But I'm naive, you know. And by the way, it shouldn't be a pejorative, naive.
No.
It just means you believe people for what they say and what they say they're going to do. And that's who I am.
Trusting and, yes, in a heartbeat.
Right. So he said he was naive. And I said, no, I'm naive too, Drew, but your problem is you care what other people think of you. And I said, I'm naive, but I don't care as long as I'm right. And he said, you're right. I did care a little too much about what other people think of me. And I thought, well, if you care what other people think of you, and that's all Hollywood is one big care what other people think of you hamper, and we're all in it, then yes, you're going to be easily manipulated.
Absolutely, 100%. I am naive in that I don't care. You know what I mean? I refused. My dad is a director. He has told me along the way, even as an actor, don't talk about yourself. Don't tell your own personal stories. Keep your political opinions quiet. And I didn't listen to any of it. I couldn't, because at a certain point in time, I felt like I have to say something.
How much of this is I loved football. I know you love football. I played a ton of football. I know you played a ton of football. You played a higher level than I did. But I got 11 years of pad football in because I started when I was 7, which is nuts.
Gosh. Yeah, that's
I was
a little
playing
on the young
tackle
side.
Football for the East Valley Trojans at 7.
Nice. I think we played you guys.
Where'd you play?
I played Malibu Mustangs, baby.
No, we were Burbank Vikings and Northridge Knights and Chatsworth Chiefs.
We got over and played a couple of your squads, I think, at some point in time. I guess we didn't play. I'm 59 now, so I don't know.
We're about the same age, but the East Valley Trojans, we would play the Sun Valley Falcons and the whatever.
I remember West Valley Eagles.
Eagles.
We played them.
Yes.
We didn't go to the East Side guys. We were afraid of you guys. We'd take the West Side guys.
Yeah, the West Valley Eagles. I think they were good at some point.
They mopped the floor with the Malibu Mustangs, I'll tell you that.
I would have loved to play a team from Malibu in Malibu.
We were so bad.
So I started at 7, and I got a lot out of that, but mainly I just got kind of tough.
Yeah.
I just got tough. And I was just like, I don't know, not really headstrong, just to kind of put the mask on. You're going to hurt yourself. I just, fine. I don't want to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was always my sort of football mentality, which I then took into other businesses, right? And I imagine you had that sort of base.
100%. Well, that's the thing I love about football, and I always use football as a metaphor for life. You're gonna find somebody bigger, faster, and stronger. Always. You're never gonna be the biggest or the fastest or the strongest. You can work your tail off, and it's tangible. You work your tail off, suddenly you are in a better position. You hit harder. You knock people down. But you're gonna get knocked down, and you got to get back up. And that's a big metaphor for life. You're doing great. You can't do it on your own. You got 10 other teammates on the field with you. You need your D. I'm a free safety. I need my D line to put some pressure on the quarterback. I need my linebackers to stuff the run. Need those things to happen in order to play. And you learn that you can be a superstar by yourself, or you can be part of a team. And it's a really wonderful concept, and it's completely merit-based. Nobody cares what color, creed, or religion you are, or even your sexual preference. It doesn't matter. Can you do the job? And that's what I love about it, because that's the way I've lived my life. If you're good at something, let's go.
I agree. Meritocracy. And then, DEI is one of the other things they're trying to sell us on. And I didn't go along with any of it because it never made sense to me, and I wasn't going to go along with stuff that didn't make sense to me. Now, there is a business side, and I guess you have to consider that, or some people have to consider it, but sure. I never really considered it.
That's that wonderful naivete again.
Well, it's naivete meets can't say stuff that I don't think is true.
Which I agree with 100%.
Right. So then as the world and the business and the town was sort of turning, I was kind of getting off the merry-go-round saying, I'm not going along with this. And then everyone would tell me you should go along with it so that you can get along. And I was told everyone, but I never finished the rest of the sentence. I would tell people, listen, I have a skill. I'm a carpenter. So I didn't get into comedy to figure out what other people wanted me to say. I'm just going to say what I want to say. And if it doesn't work, I'll put the bags back on and go to carpentry. Except for the part of the story I always left out is I think the most I could make as a carpenter, probably about $50,000 a year. And that's not going to cover the nut.
Not going to do it. So you got to do that other thing.
Not going to do it. But so now maybe I do have to watch what I say. But I never really did. And I know you didn't either. And now I think with Sydney Sweeney and Trump and the whole 9 yards and Bud Light and Jaguar and all the COVID, first off, everything, it doesn't help their case that every single thing they said was a lie.
Yeah,
whether it was Hunter
help.
Biden's laptop, whether it was Russian collusion or Steele dossier, all things COVID, you could break down masks, social distancing, ivermectin, origin story of COVID. It didn't help that every single thing they pitched was a fucking lie
100%.
For the last 8 years. That does not help their cause.
No.
But it does put us back now on the side of
common sense, really.
Yeah. Sydney Sweeney. Right.
I'm on her side. I'm 100% on her side.
Well, I just mean we're now wearing jeans and drinking a Bud Light and instead of a smoothie driving a Jag. Right?
Yes.
So something came around, which is good. Now, for me, I never was on a side. I was only on the side of what makes sense and what's truthful and what's pragmatic.
Same deal. 100%. I never, you see those memes. There's the one meme where everybody's standing around somebody and they're like, and it's one person alone and they have a sign that says, yes, I think you're all wrong.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that person. I can't, as a father and as a citizen of this country, it got to the point where I can't stay silent. And believe me, I was told to stay silent and don't say this and don't do that and don't become a law enforcement officer. And I absolutely refused to bend the knee in that sense.
So how do you get from Malibu to Princeton?
Football, baby. It helped. You know what? I had a real romanticized idea of what I thought college would be. Mm-hmm. Growing up in Malibu, you know, it's very unique. We'd go down to the beach every day, and we'd walk down there. We'd be out, of course, until dark. We had to be back when the 2 street lights came on because that's about all we had. And we were running around like crazy people. And nobody that I knew had even thought about going to an Ivy League school in Malibu. I grew up with, you know, all those same kids, Chris Penn, Sean Penn, Rob Lowe, Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez, all these guys.
Right.
In fact, my dad directed them in Young Guns, and it was wonderful, but none of those guys went to college. And I had this desire, even in high school, that I wanted to go play college football and get a great education. And I had this romantic idea of what I thought college would look like. And when I got to Princeton on my recruiting trips, I looked at Yale, I looked at Harvard, I looked at Berkeley, I looked at Stanford, and truthfully, I was going to probably stay on the West Coast, but I went to Princeton, and it felt so right. Mm-hmm. Big decision to leave Malibu, California. I'd never been to New Jersey before. And once I got there, though, and it was a dreary day in May, and it was raining, and they were like, this kid's never coming here. But I loved it. And I just loved the idea of going to this prestigious university, and it was a great choice.
You went to Malibu High?
Didn't exist back then. We had Santa Monica High School.
Oh, okay. And you had good grades, obviously, and SATs and all that stuff. I mean,
they were, you know, my grades and my SATs were good. But I was a top recruit football-wise, and that helps. Yeah.
So Santa Monica, you know, has a football program. I don't know.
We were good.
You were good.
We won CIF.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we won CIF, and we went to the next year we went to CIF championship.
Oh,
we beat Long Beach Poly. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we were Long Beach Jackrabbits.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's a good team.
Yeah, so we beat them in Anaheim Stadium. We lost the following year to West Torrance, who won it. And then my senior year, we got knocked out by a team that took second in CIF.
All right, so you guys were good.
Yeah, very
good. You're playing both ways?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was a wide receiver and a free safety.
So you had good speed.
Yep.
And good size. And you get recruited by whom?
All kinds of West Coast schools, Oregon schools, Utah schools, Pac-10 schools, not much from USC or UCLA, but all the other schools, and then other smaller schools, Weber State, University of Hawaii, places like that. And I chose to take I really wanted that top level education, so I chose to visit Princeton and Yale and Berkeley and these places.
Yeah, when that meant something.
When it meant something, exactly. And I was very naive then because I'd never been out of my Malibu bubble. I didn't get it. But I chose Princeton, which was the wisest choice I could have made to leave.
So is a full scholarship to Princeton?
No. I had to pay my own way. That's the pride of the Ivy League.
They don't have that.
Yeah, since 1953. So if anybody tells you that their kid got a athletic scholarship to one of the Ivy League schools, they are not telling you the truth.
Oh, really?
You can't get an athletic scholarship. It's just not. It's the pride of the Ivy League. So you got to be a true student athlete. So I turned them all down. My dad said, you know what, if this is where you want to go to school, because I had scholarship offers up the yin yang, and I was like, I was going to take them because you have a big ego as a college kid. You want to be wanted. People are coming at you, throwing at you. No NIL thing back then, but you're getting full rides and you're getting preferential treatment in classes first, and you get treated well.
Right.
And instead, my dad had to pay for it. And my dad, in fact, my senior year moved to Princeton. My entire family moved to Princeton to watch my senior year football season all the way through, and I was an All-American. I broke NCAA records. My dad
for
was
interceptions.
For interceptions, yes. And my dad was traveling to his pre-production meetings for Young Guns. He sold his car to keep me in school.
This is your stepdad, right?
Yeah, but he's my dad. I'd have two memories without him, and he raised me, and he's the biggest influence in my life, Christopher Cain.
What happened to biological dad?
He was a philanderer, and mom took off before I was born.
Philanderer are so close to philanthropist. You know what I mean? It's so
close, but so different.
So far. It's like casualty of war. It sounds good, but it's just not. Yeah.
Yeah, he was not a very good husband or father. And so my mom left before I was born. He was in the Army. She was down in Georgia, and she went and go back with her folks who were stationed up in Michigan. And I was born in Michigan 2 days after getting there. And then my mom moved to L.A. So that wonderful story. I'm going to go be a star with two little Japanese-looking kids because I'm quarter Japanese, and our given name was Tanaka. And then my mom met my dad. They fell in love, and he adopted us. And which is funny because anytime I make a bad decision now, or he thinks it's a bad decision, he's like, "That's not a great decision, son." And I'm like, "Dad, you married mom with no money, two little Japanese kids, and no job.
Right.
I can't do worse than that." But it worked out wonderfully.
Brunt workwear. Yeah, the stuff's good. I'm holding it right now. Beautiful, beautiful boots. But they do more than boots. The stuff's comfortable. It's like, I don't want to call it pre-broken in, but it's good to go from day one. You just have to break boots in, saddle soap and whatnot. Not only are these boots incredibly comfortable, but they deliver the protection and durability you need on the job site. Omen is the name of the boot that I'm holding up here. Wear them all the time. Lightweight, water resistant, slip and oil resistant, heat resistant, electrical hazard rated as well. These Brunt boots were comfortable right out of the box. Like I said, other guys, you got to wear them, you got to break them in, you get the blisters. Brunt isn't just about work boots. They offer a full range of high performance gear built for tough jobs. It's Brunt. Check it out. Right, Dawson?
Bring home the world's best steak experience with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their spring savings event. And for an extra $30 off, use promo code Adam at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra 30% off with promo code Adam at checkout. See site for details.
Chime. Yeah. How about your long-term finances, huh? Giving that any thought? Now, through Chime, you can be smarter about how you manage your credit scores, because that's really what you need, because it saves you so much money when you buy a house, a car, anything on credit. You got a better credit score, you get a better rate. Build credit history with everyday purchases and regular on-time payments. Plus, get access to credit tracking tools and personalized tips for a stress-free credit experience, all without credit checks, minimum deposits, annual fees, or interest. Yeah, I wish Chime was around when I was young. I could have really benefited from all the great perks of Chime. With Chime, there are no monthly fees, no overdraft fees, no minimum balance requirements. It's Chime, right, Dawson?
Make everyday purchases count with Chime Secured Credit Builder Visa Credit Card. Get started today at chime.com/Adam. Chime feels like progress.
You ever meet your biological dad?
No, he passed away, I think, 15-something years ago.
Did he ever know your success?
Yes. So it's one of those weird things, and I know you're very familiar with it, but suddenly when I got Superman, there were 3 shows on the network, and there were 3 network stations, ABC, CBS, and NBC. So everything was out there. Huge press thing that went on. And then I get a call one day, and the National Enquirer has found him, and he's doing an interview on Inside Edition or something like that. So the first time I ever saw him or heard from him or anything was watching that show and seeing his other kids, now they were probably 5 and 6 years old, running around with capes on, and he's talking about me. And I've never seen the man or heard his voice. And he's going, I don't want to be Dean's dad. I was just like, what? This is the weirdest, strangest thing. But I never spoke to him ever because he lied when he did that. He said he was in Vietnam. And, he just continued that same path that my mom had described beforehand. He lied about her. He said that she left him while he was in Vietnam. He never served in Vietnam. One of my half brothers, who's about 4 months younger than me, so there was a little crossover there. He sort of dropped dime on him to me too, and it just wasn't a good example of a father or a husband or anything like that. But my stepfather who stepped in, Chris Cain, he's my example of a man. South Dakota. He grew up on a farm. He was a bull rider. He's got those small town American values, and he passed those on to me.
Wow. What a blessing.
Oh, my gosh.
To replace that guy with this guy.
It was a great upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got very, very lucky.
Philanderer to philanthropist. Wow. That's good.
It's very good.
Also, I'm curious of what your take is on this, because I think I'm a little more like you in that, I've interviewed a lot of people, and there's like 2 schools of thought. There's like, hey, the first one I don't subscribe to. That's your dad. That's always going to be your dad. I don't care if what he's done. That's your blood. That's your blood thicker than water. I don't really know why people say blood is thicker than water.
Like thicker is good thing.
So it's molasses. But what does that mean? Oh, well, he's your blood. I know, but who's the water? Your stepdad's the water? Or who's the water
in this scenario?
Dude, blood is thicker than water. Yeah, no shit. So's 30 weight oil. So's transmission fluid. So is honey. Shall I keep going?
Yes.
Lots of stuff's thicker than water. Paint. Easy living Sears paint is thicker than water.
And will last longer on the wall.
But who's water?
Not
Who is the water? You're saying, is my stepdad's water? Or what is he?
Which is a valuable thing for life, is water, which is great.
But I don't know in this.
It's a stupid saying.
Yeah. The only other one I don't like either is shit rolls downhill. Like, has anyone been camping?
It really doesn't.
It really
It really doesn't. I've tried it.
That shit all the way down the hill. It does not go on its own.
It does not. It needs a little inertia.
Twigs, leaves. It does not roll on its own.
Yeah, that's not a great saying. But it's true. I never knew the man, so I didn't care. I had 2 memories without him, and my dad, when I met my dad, it's like no pressure. He just meets my mom, and she's like, come back to the place, whatever. And she's these 2 kids, and I was like, Dad, and like off the jump.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is back to the pragmatism. And I've talked to a lot of people. Like I said, I interviewed Joe Rogan here, and he didn't know his biological dad or whatever.
I didn't know that.
And I would say, you want to meet him? He's like, no. Look, but do you ever feel like compelled? And he's like, no, guy's a douche, doesn't deserve it, and I don't know him, so fuck that. And I'm like, I'm with you, brother.
Yeah.
Like, I feel the exact same way. If this person, yes, there is biology, there is blood, but if there's nothing else, then he's a ancestor almost. You have blood with them, but you don't need to meet them. They've been dead for 200 years.
Or a sperm donor.
Whatever it is. Yeah, and all the effort should go into the person that showed up and did the work.
Which was my dad, Christopher Cain.
Your stepdad moved to New Jersey to watch you play free safety your senior year.
And took a bus to his pre-production meetings and things for Young Guns that he was producing and directing, because he sold his car to keep me in Princeton my senior year and wouldn't tell anybody. Didn't even tell me. I didn't know until afterward.
Did he go to the away games?
They went to so he would go back during the weeks during the week to do his prep stuff here, and then go to Princeton for the weekend to watch the games or every away game. I would pull into. We went and played Davidson down in North Carolina. We're there 3 hours before the game. It's Ivy League. We get 10, 15,000 people on a good game, and there was one car in the parking lot. I'm sitting there with my Walkman or whatever I had at the time, listening to music, getting pumped for the game, and somebody taps me and points out that the one car in the parking lot, it was my folks.
Wow.
Greatest in the world. They went to every single game my senior year. That's the kind of family that I grew up with, and that's why I think that's a huge reason, obviously, why I have the values and the morals and the things that I find important is passed on from family. And they'll do anything. Family, it's faith, family, country, so that's the way my family works. And
what's as weird as I didn't have any of that. I had a derelict family, but my dad wasn't a philanthropist or a
philanderer.
A philanderer. He was just, but I arrived at those same thoughts as you had, but I would tell people, people go, everyone wants to talk about hacks and cold plunges and life hacks and saunas and, shaker weights and stuff. I go, just diet and exercise. Just diet and exercise. And they go, whoa. Some people have a metabolism. I gotta just go diet and exercise. You know what the fuck to eat. You know what not to eat. And you know to break a sweat. And that's about it. So
Bingo.
You want to get another book. You want to hire a personal fitness trainer. You want to have Dr. Fauci go on there and talk about electrolytes. I don't know what you want. Just diet and exercise. It's easy. It's family. It's religion. I'm not religious, but it's family. It's family and education. Family and education. Family and education. I've been telling everyone this my entire time. I had a microphone in front of my face, and they argue and they argue and they argue. That's what the left does, because once there's family and education, we no longer need them.
Of course. Not at all. And that's what that whole Marxist push is, to get rid of everybody's family, let the government raise your kids, let your government indoctrinate kids, change history, all that madness. So that's why I'm vehemently against it. And that's why I constantly get called a Nazi for standing up for American values. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, you're super Nazi.
Yeah, exactly. I get that every single day.
Yeah, everyone calls me an asshole too, but I don't even know. Somebody showed me a clip of the Young Turks trying to attack me from 10 years ago. And I was like, it's 10 years on, and I still don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I said, feed your kids breakfast. I don't care about the money. I want your kids to learn to have you feed them, not rely on the government
100%
to feed them. That's all.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. It was a big issue with the Young Turks. You know what I mean?
Well, let's be honest. Cenk probably wanted to keep some of that food for himself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good point.
But I'm bump.
So I was like, I've gone on that. I've gone on HuffPo. And I was like, diet and exercise. Basically, I say diet and exercise. What I'm saying is family and education. Family and education. They're like, what about the school to prison pipeline? I'm like,
it doesn't exist.
Is there a real pipeline? Because if it's just a mythical pipeline, then family and education would keep you out of prison.
Yes.
And so I was always like, first off, I don't even know what we're arguing about. I'm saying diet and exercise. You're walking into my office saying you're a nutritionist, and I'm going, you're fat. So here's what we need to do. You need to put down that hoagie and pick up an apple or a piece of jicama or fruit or something, and then instead of Ubering home, why don't you walk home?
Hey, what a concept.
Right, what a concept. And then come back in 6 months.
And let's see where we are.
I'll bet you'll be down 30 pounds.
Exactly. And all your other numbers will be getting closer to right. It's common sense.
And so, but by the way, why are you angry at me? First off, I don't really care if you're fat or not. I'm just telling you
this
is what works. I'm not involved with the school to prison pipeline. My kids aren't involved with the school to prison pipeline. I don't have to worry about the school to prison pipeline. I may get stabbed by someone who didn't make it fully into the pipeline and somehow got stuck on the grate on the outside and didn't get sucked in and make it to prison. Yeah. But my kids may be stabbed by one of them. That is a factor. But bottom line, I'm trying to help people not get into the pipeline.
Which is to get rid of that school to prison pipeline thing that doesn't really exist.
Right.
But it goes back to the same thing. Diet, exercise. calories in, calories out. You burn more than you take in, you're going to lose weight.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. You take care of family and education, you're not going to have that school to prison pipeline. It's just common sense that somehow has gotten just muddied up because it appeals to people's, base sense of being lazy.
I don't know if it's just a sort of nihilism where they just want everything gone or whatever was.
I think they just want power for themselves.
There is a clip, Andrew. You don't have to find the Young Turks. It's comical. It's weird. They take a clip of me just saying, "Feed your own kids," and I don't care about the money. I care about the message, and then do 10 minutes on Adam's too cheap to feed kids, which is like I say in the body of the piece, I don't care about the money. I care about the message.
Well, that's too simple. We'll just quote you out of context and make up our own story.
Also, so here's the, I guess what I'm saying is here's the synopsis. The synopsis is Adam Carolla and Dean Cain hate kids, hate women, hate democracy, and love authoritarian dictatorship to live under their rule.
Yep, that's the headline.
Basic. Oh, and blacks and gays. Of
course.
We hate them all.
And that's the headline. Nobody bothers to read the story, by the way.
That's beneficial to me how? Like, you know what I mean? Living in Los Angeles. Scared of people look different than me. In Los Angeles. How would one navigate living in Los Angeles scared of those who look different than them?
Impossible, because you have a huge melting pot of every color, creed, religion. Everything is here. Always has been.
Right.
At least certainly for my lifetime and your lifetime, since we are very close in age. There's no question about it. It's crazy. But people love to, otherize and villainize people right now, especially from the left, on people's opinions they don't agree with.
Pragmatically, just for me to be a racist, how would that benefit me? Like, I'm talking to Netflix about doing a show and A&E about doing a show. Now, me being overtly racist, how would it help my relationship with Netflix and A&E?
Not going to help it.
In terms of getting on the air.
Of course. It makes no sense.
Even if I am racist, what's in it for me to be overt about it?
Nothing. It makes zero sense whatsoever. But they'll say you're saying it just to be relevant. You're saying it to be controversial and relevant. And you're like, no, this is just opinion.
It's a dog whistle.
Oh yeah, dog whistle.
It's all all my fans are racist.
Of course. Now it's everybody.
Now it's everybody.
You're speaking in code. But you know who can decode that? Tim Waltz. He can speak, he can decode for white dudes or whatever the hell he said.
Homes.com. Well, some might say Homes.com is the best shopping site for homes. It may be because they're super comprehensive, transparent agent directory, or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home the best. Perhaps it's because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. Or maybe it's all the above. That's what I think it is. Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth info they need to find the right home. Homes.com. That's Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This summer, Pluto TV is exploding with thousands of free movies. Summer of Cinema is here. Feel the explosive action all summer long with movies like Gladiator, Mission Impossible, Beverly Hills Cop, Good Burger, and Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Bring the action with you and stream for free from all your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
I love this new world order of bizarre, weirdo, super progressive left-wingers trying to sort of fit in with the aw shucks regular guy. Like, I love when he's like, oh, hey, you caught me. I was gapping the plugs in my International Harvester. After that, I'm going to clean my shotgun.
Which I don't know how to fire.
Then I'm going to have a couple Pabst Tall Boys and watch a Ted Nugent concert from '79. Oh, yeah, Motor City Man. Anyway, I'm just gapping these plugs. Let me get this feeler gauge, which I'm holding the wrong end of. Yeah, anyway, let's talk. It's like, what? Someone snuck up on you with a camera while you're gapping the plugs on your international harvester? I got cars. I work on my cars all the fucking time.
They're over. I saw a bunch of them over here, too.
No one has ever snuck up on me.
No.
Like, I've never been... I got a BRE 510 getting prepped. I'm racing Laguna Seca in a week, but I'm under the hood. But no one's turned the corner with a fucking camera and had me go, I was just jetting the carbs on my 510. Hey, let's talk.
It's horrible social media. Just like Eric Swalwell walking around. Hey, Congressman. Yeah, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. What do you think of blah, blah, blah? And let's cuss a little bit. Oh, I think it's insane. It's inauthentic. And that's the whole point.
I'm just sitting at my desk eating a taco.
Oh, God.
Spelled T-A-C-O, which is also an acronym we invented 10 minutes ago.
God.
Trump always chickens out.
Yeah, that didn't stick. That's about as good as fetch from whatever that Mean Girls. Fetch ain't gonna happen.
We're also working on an acronym that's insulting to Trump that fits into the word burrito and tostada, but we haven't really worked that one out yet. We're also looking for churro.
Churro's a tough one.
Unfortunately, Clinton starts with a C. So that may be problematic, but right now we have taco.
Taco's good.
And this is good. And I'm just eating this taco when this guy walked into my office with a camera. Later on, I'm going to gap some spark plugs in my international harvester, eating another taco.
And then out bench press Greg Gutfeld.
That's right. But then what happened with Trump always chickens out? That was 10 minutes ago.
Gone.
But what happened? I thought he was a chicken. I thought you guys knew something.
But he made a deal, and the tariffs worked, and
a bunker buster was launched.
And that changes things. Well, President Trump is working at such a clip that these news cycles that they would normally just harp on for, a month at a time, they can get a week out of, and then he's on to something else. And it's so fast that the mainstream media can't keep up. I love it.
Yeah,
I tune in every day going like, what happened today?
Right.
And they're trolling people. Their White House things, their social media people are, you see the one with he's on the roof and he's like, have you seen the Sydney Sweeney ad? He's yelling down to the group. I mean, it's funny stuff. It's funny. And that's one of the things I love to see from you on X is you'll just quote something and just write funny. Right. Because it's funny.
It's funny.
You don't put any judgment behind it, but it's funny. And it is funny. That was funny. I laughed my tail off.
But I do think there's a lot of trolling. I think he'll go, I'm going to move Guantanamo Bay to Ellis Island. And everyone goes, what?
Yes.
What? Yeah, we're going to do Abu Ghraib on Ellis Island.
Abu Ghraib.
Okay. No! I think he's fucking with everybody.
Of course he is. But then, meanwhile, he's making a trade deal with China.
So, the recent news, I want to get your take on it because it kind of dovetails into this with the whole Howard Stern thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking, I used to do Stern many, many times.
I did it
many times.
Several times.
And I bet you did it many times. Yep. Now, I did it many times, probably more than others, because I would be asked to sit in all the time, which is not necessarily being a guest, but literally sitting in for the 4+ hours,
yep.
Which was, I guess, I don't know. You know what? You can find out when Jackie left, but when Jackie left, I was offered the Jackie chair.
Well, because you and Jackie are very similar.
We could
be siblings.
So I used to do it from L.A. With a Zephyr, like a Zephyr's like a suitcase. Like it was a crazy. I mean, you have to picture this. So Jackie left in 2001. So I met Howard. I always wanted to do the Howard Stern show, and Jimmy always wanted to do the Howard Stern show, but Howard would go to bed at 8 at night, and our
East
shows,
Coast time.
My whole thing was late night stuff and nighttime stuff. So he didn't really know who we were, but eventually somebody told him, you got to book these guys. They're on a popular show. They're funny. You'd like these guys. So we went we were in New York, and we did the show. And Howard really, the thing that's funny about Howard is he knows comic books and stuff like that, COVID protocol. He's an expert in lots of things. ask him one question about football or one question about late night, something that's out of his purview, he doesn't know what you're talking about.
At all.
So he really had no idea who Jimmy and I were, but we sat in for a show and we had a good time. And at the end of the show, later on that afternoon, Howard called me. He got my phone number and he just called me and he just went, I don't know who you are, but I've never met anyone like you. I want you to be part of this show because I'm looking to replace
I don't know who you are.
Well, he was like, I really wasn't a fan. I didn't really know your work. You know, he was blown away. And I just sound like a douche, but he called me and that's what he said.
Pretty awesome.
And he was like, I want you to be part of the show. I don't know where you come from. I really don't know your stuff. And it was clear because I said, no, I can't move to New York. I have a family. I have 3 TV shows and a radio show. I live in LA. I have a house. He was so, I never heard of you. No one else ever heard of you, but you got a gift. So come on down. And there's the Jackie seat. And I'm like, no, I have 5 jobs and I can't do it.
Give me the Zephyr.
Give me the Zephyr. So we used to do, he'd say, can you sit in? Can you sit in? And the problem was I would finish Loveline at midnight.
I did Loveline with you guys.
Yeah.
Back in the early 1800s.
Finish at midnight, and his show would start at 3 a.m. New York time.
Oof.
I mean, L.A. time.
Right.
And so I would go, all right.
Stay up?
No, I would drive from Westwood 1 in Culver City, about a half hour, 35 minutes, back to Beechwood Canyon.
Oof.
I would walk in my front door about 12:30, 12:35. I would sit there. I couldn't go to bed.
Nope.
I'd drink a glass of wine and watch Sports Center.
Which is nice.
Then at 1:15 or 1:30, I would go to bed.
Oh, gosh.
For about 50 minutes.
Oh.
I would get up. I would drive back to Culver City.
Oh.
It'd be pitch black.
That's painful.
And I'd walk in there in about 45 to 50. I mean, the most I could sleep was an hour because mathematically it wouldn't work.
Be all screwed up.
And I would walk in there and I would sit in for 5 hours.
Oh, my gosh.
And at some point I started hallucinating because I wouldn't even know where I was. And I'd be sitting there like in this studio that was empty. And like every once in a while, I'd hear like 4 hours in, you'd hear Howard's voice go, Adam, what do you think? And I'd be like, I'm having a dream. I'm on a construction site. I'm driving my truck. I'm listening to Stern on the radio, and he's talking to me. I was like hallucinate.
Of course.
And then I would leave it. We'd be done at 8 in the morning. Oof. And then I would just sit in traffic from Culver City back to Beechwood Canyon, literally hallucinating. Like I don't. Everyone else is honking and up and stuff, and it's light now.
Ouch.
And I did that all the time. Ugh. And then eventually I said, I got to do it from my house.
Yes, Zephyr.
They got me a Zephyr, which is suitcase, and you plug it into the phone line. And
wow.
I just sat in my office. And
perfect, though. It saved you some time.
I had no acoustics.
Oh, God.
And it was an old house with hardwood floors and stuff. I sat under a ceiling fan. I draped thick sheets over the ceiling fan. I pinned them to the ceiling fan and draped them out like a canopy. And I would go into it like a tent.
Little teepee.
And made a little tent. Yeah, I made a little sheet teepee, and that would pick it up.
Wow. You and Elizabeth Warren make that teepee.
That's right.
Was she in there with you? No, she wasn't. Okay. She could have taught you how to build one, from scratch.
Oh, my God. Lean-tos, teepees, wigwams. I mean, she does them all, man.
Well, she's
but she wants a lot of wampum these days.
She wants much wampum.
Much wampum.
Well, see, that is a grueling schedule. I can't. And I wouldn't move to New York either. So bless you for doing that. But, man, that's exhausting.
Yeah, I did it, and then I would talk to him off the air, and when I went out, I'd go out to New York, we go out to dinner. But the thing about going out to dinner with Howard is you ate at 5 p.m.
Wow,
5 p.m. Like New York is 9 and martinis, you know what I mean? But this was 5 p.m. and I'd do it. I'd go to his condo in Manhattan and meet him and go to the place across the street, nice restaurant, everything. Sit there and have dinner, but it's dinner at 5,
lunch, dinner, whatever.
So people say like, well, what happened to Howard Stern? Like, what is he? And I explain all the time because everyone thought, well, he was this rock and roll, womanizing, hard living, hard loving dude. That's never who he was. He went to bed at 8 every single night. Wow. Every night. How can you be a rock and roll hard? What time do you think the club's close? 7:30 at night? Like but every single time. I mean, this is 20 years ago. I'd go 5 o'clock dinner. I'd go, I gotta go to bed at 8. Go to bed at 8.
That's pretty straight-laced.
He was a business guy who was a radio guy. The rock and roll bad boy, that's all facade. He was married. He had kids. He's a family guy. He's a kind of conservative Jewish guy who's a worker. You know what I mean? He's a businessman. That was part of the facade, but that's not who he is.
Yeah.
So then later on, it's like, what happened to the old Howard Stern? Well, this is the old Howard Stern, the COVID warrior who's worried about germs and worried to leave the house and catch COVID and stuff. That is who that guy is. That's who he was.
But he's behind the facade, of course. I always felt like it was kind of like Sean Penn, always wanting to be a contrarian. Mm-hmm. Like he would just say something to get you to respond or say some outlandish
thing. An agitator.
Yeah, an agitator. Great word.
Right.
Yeah, but then it became, well, I guess you're on long enough, your true opinions come out, and he has certainly shifted. You see it all over. People are yelling about, how he got canceled or how it's over now, and he used to be so edgy. And, I'm no expert on Howard. I was on the show a couple of times, and I enjoyed it. But I also knew that when he would ask something that I didn't want to answer, which was, a lot of sex questions and who'd you date and blah, blah, blah. I would just go quiet and kind of go, well, because he'd keep it going. So we just kind of moved past it, which was good because I didn't want to answer a couple of those questions.
I get it.
But I enjoyed doing the show then, and I just stopped listening, to be honest. The last few years, I haven't heard much of it.
Yeah, well, he's a businessman, and that's more who is. He's a radio guy who's a business guy. He's not.
He did some good business.
Rock and roll bad boy. Yeah, and I liked him, and I agree that at a certain point, somewhere around Obama, certainly with Trump, and my thing was, I could have still come on the show even if we disagreed, but that's not how that side of the aisle rolls.
No,
there is no mas in the coming on, and it's that way with everything, with films,
Oh God.
Oh yeah. Could
Film,
you imagine
television.
getting a film into Sundance?
Oh, now? No way.
No way. Not in a million years.
I would have to change I would have to recredit myself. AI change my face.
It was funny. I came across a mug that somebody. So years ago. First off, I knew everything before anyone else knew anything. I knew this was all going this way, and I knew I make documentaries and movies sometimes, but there's going to be no son. I could make a movie called Harriet Tubman's Revenge, where she came back as a superhero and killed all the white people, and they wouldn't let it in.
Not if it had your name on it.
Not if it had my name on it, but 10 years ago, I knew it was coming, and I said, I was sitting around with my wife and her girlfriend, and I said, if I want to get into Sundance, I can't have my name because that's a man show, douchebag. I said, I got to come up with a name. I said, I'll just invent a new name. And
yes.
I said, Jules Dash. And my wife's friends said, Jules Dash? Who knows? I don't even know if that's a man or a woman.
Exactly. Exactly.
Jules Dash, a lot of scarves. tinted prescription glasses.
Absolutely.
Perfect, right?
Dead on.
Johnny Depp-esque, lots of jewelry.
Perfect.
And a Jules Dash.
And you'll get in a heartbeat and get nominated and possibly win Sundance.
Well, Jules Dash wouldn't get me in, but it would
stop you.
It would make it based on the merit of the work, and the work is good, so then I would get in.
Exactly.
All right, Dean, hang with us. We're going to do some news. Is
yes,
that
sir.
okay?
News is good. I'd like to hear what's going on.
Alicia Krause is going to come in. We'll do that right after this. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah. Want to keep your car on the road? Well, that's their business, O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service, parts, and the knowledge you need to maintain and do repairs. And the last 2 weeks, I got a battery jumper box from O'Reilly. I got the sawdust you throw down to sop up all the hydraulic fluid. Had a hose bust on a hoist. Now I got the water wetter, getting ready for the race car. Got to put it in the radiator. So whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you'll find the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts are knowledgeable, helpful, and best of all, they are friendly. So stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Do it today, or you can visit us online at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. Select quote. Well, if you're like me, you wish you'd grab some of that Bitcoin when they're selling it for a nickel. Yeah, not paid for 4 years of finding yourself. I'd say that'd be college. I didn't go to college, let's be honest. But you did. Should have grabbed that bit. We don't have to let FOMO mean missing out on real protection. That's where Select Quote comes in. Life insurance. It's like a parachute. If you need it and don't have it, there's no second chances. Or think of it as a bodyguard for your bank account after you're gone. This is something you want to get right and fast and won't be cheaper tomorrow. You could get coverage the same day, up to $2 million, sometimes with no medical exam. Bottom line, Select Quote makes life insurance simple, even if you've never thought about it before. It's Select Quote. Right, Dawson?
Life insurance is never cheaper than it is today. Get the right life insurance for you for less and save more than 50% at SelectQuote.com/Carolla. Save more than 50% on term life insurance at SelectQuote.com/Carolla today to get started. That's SelectQuote.com/Carolla. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Tim from Poplar Grove Airport here. I saw the Sydney Sweeney ad on Daily Wire, and I am outraged for one reason that nobody has mentioned, and I think you're going to agree with me on this. The part where she peels away in the Mustang was obviously edited, and the editors put smoke coming off the front tire of a Shelby Mustang from 1965. Completely unacceptable.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
It irked me as well. I bit my tongue, but yes, all that stuff bothers me. I don't like.
Get some better editors in there.
The problem with the editors, there's no car guy editors, you know what I mean? So they just smoked up the front wheels.
The things that AI cannot fix.
Yeah, it's a rear wheel drive car. So anyway, 65 Mustang, good car.
I love that's what you took. The caller took that out. That's their exception.
I'm back. Look, in War of the Worlds, Tom Cruise had a fastback Mustang as well, and he was rebuilding the engine in his kitchen, and he's like, I got a new 302, and I was like, it's a 289. the 302 is for the boss. You have the model before that. You should be rebuilding a 289.
So what we're realizing is that you need to have some contract with studios or production companies that come to you to run all the car stuff by you.
Absolutely.
Before they put anything out in public.
They can run the car stuff by me, but they can run the Dean Cain stuff, football stuff could be run by Dean because
technical advisor. In
Ghost Rider, Nick Cage was going to jump 300 feet field goal to field goal.
Well, that would be close to 300 feet, except for the end zones, which makes it a little bit longer.
360.
Yes, sir.
So it's not 300.
It's not 300.
And it's not field goal to field goal. I would say goalpost to goalpost.
It's goalpost to goalpost.
Right. So you could have straightened them out.
In a heartbeat.
That's
in a
what
heartbeat.
I'm
But they
saying.
wouldn't listen to me.
Well, I told them, listen, you go to Dean for football.
Go to you for cars.
But they wouldn't listen.
They don't listen.
All right, sorry.
And what do we go to me for?
It's just a laugh. A good time. A good time.
To point and laugh?
No, not pointing. Just a good time. Just a good time.
Well, this is a crazy story. This couple decided, of course they're in tech, and of course it's their second wedding. Sorry to be judgmental, but they decided to sell tickets to their destination wedding. Mm-hmm. They said that it is really cost prohibitive, and they were baffled by the overpriced traditional wedding planning model that often breaks the bank due to quote unquote outrageous costs associated to the smallest things. Mm-hmm. So they decided to sell tickets to their wedding. A basic ticket was valued at $57 per person, and it covered admission to the wedding ceremony and the reception, which I don't know if that was an open bar. Not bad. $57, right? But for those who wanted to make it a full weekend event, they had to purchase the second option that was valued at around $1,000 for 2 tickets, which included access to the rehearsal dinner, their biohacking brunch and recovery lounge, and so much more.
IVs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was the IVs and they had red light therapy and stuff like that.
So
hangover remedies.
We're basically now in the realm of we are used to paying for everything because you're not old enough, Alicia Krause, but the notion of paying for water to drink is insanity.
Turn the hose on. I drank out of the hose for
That's all I did.
15 years.
Hose, drinking fountains. Even if something at school, people shove gum into the drinking fountain.
It doesn't
still
matter.
Drinking,
yeah,
right
you get it through there. It just makes it shoot out at a weird angle.
Rooster tail right in your face. But so, all right, so then pay. And then, all right, so if you said to, my dad when I was a kid, now listen, Jim Carolla, I need you to pay for water. I need you to pay for TV. I need you to pay for something called Sirius Satellite XM radio. That's going to be a premium. You want the Stern package? That's going to cost a little bit more. Not for long, but it's going to cost a little bit more. My dad would have won. And you got to pay for education and braces. He would have won what the? No.
Yep.
No.
What about parking? Parking is the thing that irks me the most.
Yeah, there didn't used to be any sort of parking for anything.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. City parking, street parking. You have to go swipe your. By the way, for me, it's not the money. I told you I went to the Michael Madsen wake last Friday, and the theater has a lot behind it, and I pulled in, and it was like, this is pay parking. There's no attendant. Use your phone and hit the computer thing on the thing, and then that'll download. And I'm like, I'm going to fuck this up 10 ways. My car's going to be on a tow truck when I come back out of this. I don't know how to do this. I'll happily give you $5, but I don't know.
But there's no person there to take the $5.
There's nobody there. I just got back in the car, backed out, and I drove a half mile away and just parked on the street somewhere.
Safe.
Yeah, because at least I know.
You didn't have to buy a ticket to the wake, though, right? Like the wedding.
Oh my gosh!
I'm just saying.
Would you do that?
There was an upgrade for the open casket, though.
I mean,
it was an upgrade, and I paid. It was a premium. They called it a premium.
It's worth it.
I mean, I could honestly see. So their thing is people are starting their marriage and their life together, with so much debt.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, then don't budget. I feel like this is
I don't
budget.
I think if you are a renter, we should limit your marriage, your wedding to $7,500 or something like that. You have to have a cutoff. I don't want you spending $50,000 and renting an apartment. I want that money going to a down payment somewhere,
and
condo,
actually,
something.
I actually would be, when my husband and I got married, we registered for furniture, and we were like, we don't expect anybody to buy us the Crate and Barrel couch, but money towards the couch would be nice.
Hey.
And people did it.
Yeah.
And I feel like these people are do you not have friends that care about you? Because part of a wedding registry
is to help you get started.
Is to help you get started.
Yeah,
and I'd rather
agree.
give somebody money to go towards buying a house because that is their greatest future denominator of not ever being in poverty ever for them and their children. Why don't we just tell people buy a house and not have a $500,000 wedding?
I knew someone who was getting married who had a fixer-upper kind of starter house, and I said, well, instead of a crock pot and a air fryer and bedding, get a bid for your deck, $5,000, and have everyone go in on your deck, and then you get a deck
I love that
out
idea.
of this thing.
Or have them all come help make the deck like the Amish. You got a lot of Amish friends, invite them over, or invite Adam over.
You see the movie Witness?
Oh yeah,
a bunch of guys with Mennonite beards show up.
Hey, they'll pick up an entire house and move that sucker. You see what the Amish did during the North Carolina stuff? Those guys are unbelievable.
I mean, they used to do that in the olden days, though.
Yeah.
Like Little House on the Prairie times. It's like that couple's getting married. We're gonna go. Everybody's gonna go frame their house.
That makes sense.
I agree, but this is
wedding.
L.A. Got a bunch of lame gay producers and stuff. They don't know shit. God, do they not know anything?
So we need Adam to be a consultant on car things and also be GC.
Yeah, my thing is you get all your Dumbo friends to contribute to the deck. I'll GC it. You know what I mean? We'll pull a owner operator permit. And then and by the way, I'm good for $85 an hour. So if I put in an afternoon, then we're square. I don't have to. That's my contribution to the deck right there. I'll run a crew of Guatemalans mainly, and we'll get your fucking deck knocked out. How about that? You won't have a crock pot, but you can buy that anytime you want for $40.
And forget the wedding.
Yeah, forget the wedding.
I think that this might be generational too, because I'm like one of the last millennials, and these kids, I'm calling them kids. They're like 34 and 35 years old.
Those are kids,
and I feel like that's like a cusp of like you guys should pay for the pleasure of being with me is very like 35 and under nowadays.
Yeah,
there's that one generation that between 35 and my son's 25. There's about a 10-year period of time where life's going to be tough for I think whatever generation that is called. That's because they're getting tougher now.
Yeah.
But there's a how you have classes like at a football team that class of 88, which I was. Don't even tell me you weren't born yet because I know. But
I was too.
Okay, thank you for that. That's great. You have great classes. Class of 88, we had a great strong class.
Right.
Class of 87, sorry guys, they just weren't that good. And you have different years that are great, and so maybe you get a good class. Maybe you don't.
Well, anyway, I don't know. First off, anyone can do whatever they want because there's no more rules and no more judgment. And I don't like that society, but that's where we're at. So I don't care, but I wouldn't do it that way. Shopify. Well, starting a business, it can be intimidating. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. from household names like Mattel, Gymshark, to brands just getting started. Brands you're going to know soon. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond at Shopify. Right, Dawson?
Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Carolla, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Carolla to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/Carolla.
Speaking of money, my family this fiscal year has not spent $207,500. But apparently the state of Massachusetts did so by spending over $830 million so far this fiscal year, housing more than 4,000 families in an emergency shelter program. It's Democratic Governor Maura Healey there, and she's actually said that they're like ending this because they cannot, alas, they cannot afford it anymore.
Shocker.
Yeah, look, okay. People will survive. Like you'd be amazed what people will do. They don't need nearly what, this notion of like, you're going to let people die. It's like, so the choice is always the government has to feed them, clothe them, and shelter them, or they die. Because I don't know how that mathematically pencils out on a national level, No, people should take care of themselves, and they should learn to, and they should have a family. And what it really is people need an infrastructure within their own family. Mm-hmm. You will never be homeless. My kids will never be homeless because their dad worked hard and generally kept his shit together, and there's always going to be a guest house for you to crash in if the wheels come off the wagon.
That's a wonderful safety net too.
Right.
I mean, it's a great thing for them and their psyche.
Right. So, and I grew up poor, and I had, people, you couch surf.
I was going to say, you had a couch you knew you could sleep on.
People,
even if it was with a crazy
Elon
aunt.
Musk couch surfed. Everybody couch surfs at one
people
point in
put
time.
like an inflatable mattress down in the garage, and you just fucking put a lamp out there. Like, there's ways to do it. I lived in the garage at my dad's house for a couple of years. Like, it's what you do. You don't need the state to do it, but as soon as the state will do it, then people will use that.
But even if the state spent, say, $20,000 per family, I don't want families to be alone, especially if there's children, like on the street. Like, that's horrible. But like, you give them $20,000 to
they spent
$207,500 per family.
Right.
This fiscal year.
But let me explain something with the state. It's like the bathroom at the park in San Francisco is $1.7 million. Like, wait a minute, I could build a custom house in Malibu for $1.7 million. So it's literally one bathroom in the park. Yeah. Okay, so obviously there's a vig and a premium whenever the state and the city, whenever the government gets involved, you can go ahead and tack on about 2,000%. Yes.
Well, on top of like a quadrupled timeline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
slower and more expensive.
Yeah, whatever.
And less good.
Whatever the private sector would cost to build the bullet train, go ahead and go up tenfold from that. But yeah, so you have many Americans, some in this building, that seem to manage on under $60,000 a year. And manage to eat sushi once in a while and go to a concert.
Wow.
And have a flat panel TV that streams networks on it. So why 200? Because the government's involved. That's 100%. Why it's that.
They are axing it. It was done back in the 80s, before I was born, in 1983.
There we go.
By Governor Michael Dukakis, and he signed what remains the nation's only statewide right to shelter law, which set in motion the conditions for this housing crisis, which Republicans in the state are saying it's not a housing crisis of Massachusetts. Is that
Massachusetts?
My grandmother was born there. I should know this. Massachusetts. It's actually because of the illegal immigrant crisis and how they are coming into the state, and then they're stuck in these hotels that the state has been paying for.
Stuck.
Yeah. Well, first off, you can't. Okay. Here's what I've said a million times. I've said it. I've always said it. It's like bears. What's the bear population do? And the bear population does whatever they can do. That's whatever we let them do.
Sure.
So if you work at Jellystone Park, you'll see signs that'll say, put the lid down on the trash can on the dumpster and put a lock on it, because if you leave it open, the bears will get into it. And if you're going on a hike, take your food and put it in your car and lock it or whatever. Now, are the bears good or are the bears bad?
They're bears.
They're bears. They just do
what bears do.
Well, they'll do what we let them do, is basically how it works. So what do you want the bears to do? Well, I'd like them to go out and forage for themselves and live off the land and eat how their ancestors ate. Right. But now there's a family here with In-N-Out Burger. Right.
It smells real good.
We didn't really factor that in. We didn't
smells
factor
good to me,
that
too.
in. We all just got a little boner.
It's like,
In-N-Out. So what's the bear do? Well, their ancestors didn't have to worry about the In-N-Out situation because In-N-Out wasn't invented. But now there's a bunch of fat kids in SUVs and there's a bunch of picnic baskets. And we got In-N-Out. Okay, so now what do we want the bears to do? Well, we don't want them to come around and tear it up and get fat and get diabetes eating In-N-Out Burger. Right. Okay, so how should we do this? Well, let's just leave the In-N-Out on the table. We'll be on the honor system. We'll explain to the bears it's not the right thing to do. Okay, I don't think that's going to work.
Not going to work.
Well, give it a shot. And then you walk away and they tear the fucking table apart. Okay, not going to work. Why? Well, it's not because the bears are bad. It's just because the bears will do what they can do. And they smell the In-N-Out. People are exactly the same. They will do what we let them do. If you want them to work, then don't give them free shit and they will work. If you'd like them to find shelter, they will work. They will get roommates. They will find shelters. They will use futons. They will figure it out. Or you can provide a bunch of free In-N-Out Burger, but you're going to get a lot more bears.
Yes, you are.
You keep whoever the campground is that provides the most free In-N-Out Burger word will get around in the bear community, and you will attract the most bears.
100%.
The picnic table that is responsible, puts the food away, locks it up, locks the dumpsters. Bears get the message, good and bad. No bears over at that campground. That's how we do it. California is a picnic table filled with In-N-Out burgers.
Absolutely.
And so we get the most bears. But whatever blue, progressive, sanctuary city, whatever, the bears go where the getting's good. Mm-hmm. And so do human beings, and basically so do cats, so do all species. We just wander. If you're a cat, you go to where the saucer of milk is. If there's no saucer of milk at that house, but there's one at that house, then I'm going to end up there. And guess what? Tomorrow there's going to be 5 cats. And a week from now, it's going to be 100 cats. Because that's what we do.
Because they're all going to have babies.
That's what we do. So understand how that works and act accordingly. The blue states go, look, those bears need to be treated with dignity. Those bears need a seat at the picnic table. Those bears are hardworking. No bears illegal. I go, all right, you're just going to get more fucking bears and more fucked up
they were
stuff.
probably indigenous to the area.
Of course.
Those bears were here first. It was their picnic table until the white man showed up.
The headline to this piece will be Adam Carolla compares illegals to animals.
Yeah.
That's it. What a
They need to
horrible
be stuffed and mounted.
It was a regal animal, though.
Very regal and dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And gorgeous.
But what I'm basically saying is forget the value judgment. I don't think bears are good or bad. Bears do what we let them do. That it's easier to go to the dumpster and tear that apart than it is to hunt or forage.
Agreed.
So just
why
like,
wouldn't they go to Massachusetts and be like, great, I get $3,500 a week?
Well, but it's
and a place to stay.
Look, and it's understood that's kind of on us. You leave the dumpster open. You know, look, no one goes and yells at the bear. They go, who left the dumpster open? You go, oh, shit, I got drunk.
Yeah.
The last thing I threw out was a bottle. I threw out a 6 or straws. And, all right, it's the guy who didn't do. Okay, so politicians are in charge of the dumpster. Shut the lid and be responsible or not. You can be Ron DeSantis, who shuts the dumpster, or you can be Gavin Newsom, who leaves the dumpster open and then wants to know what's going on with the dumpster.
Yeah. Oh, he drove me out of California. I live in Nevada now. Those horrible policies drove me out of here. And I love this state. Most beautiful state in the union with everything. Can't be here. And every time I come back, like even today, it just kind of gives me a weird feeling, like I'm angry about it. I feel like I'm under the thumb of Gavin Newsom, not Newscum. I won't call him that because apparently his kids listen to it on the radio. But it's awful. I always compare him to Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. He looks like him. He feels greasy like that to me, and it's terrifying. So I couldn't be here anymore in this beautiful, wonderful state because it's horribly run, because they let the bears just go nuts and eat everything, and they feed them and they get surprised that there's more bears. You know what would soothe that fresh wound on you, Dean Cain? A little In-N-Out burger. Oh, yes, sir. As a matter of fact, it would. But you got that shit in Nevada now, right? Oh, yeah. Yes. Well, because In-N-Out's getting run out of California like everything else.
Well, their headquarters is still going to be here.
Well, they're going to change that in time, too, I'm sure.
Think?
Well, look, the corporate tax rate is so much better. And
I know.
Everybody, look, businesses are in the business of making money. So where's your allegiance? I don't have. We have allegiance to making money. Yeah, 100%. That's the bottom line. All right, we'll cut the show a little bit short today because I got to travel, and it just turned into a cluster.
Don't check your ribeye.
Kerfuffle.
Don't check the ribeye.
Where's the ribeye?
Don't remember you lost your ribeye in Minnesota because it was in your luggage.
When you said check it, I thought you meant.
Like, don't
look at it. Yeah, you would check bag ribeye. No, that's on the way back. But I do have food in the back of my car.
He does. It's a whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I'm the dumpster and the bear in this equation. All right, tonight I'll be in Portland, Helium, doing shows over there. A couple shows, maybe a few tickets left as well. You can go to adamcarolla.com for all that. Dean Cain, everyone. Little Angels is the name of the movie. Angel.com. Angel Studios, good dudes, Provo, all that. Dry Bar, love all that show. Alicia Krause, Op-Ed Weekly in the Washington Examiner. Yes?
Yes, sir.
We good? Dean, always great to see you, my friend.
Adam, a pleasure. Travel safely. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Alicia Krause and Dean Cain saying, mahalo.